Hi, everybody. My name is Donna Gorton. Welcome to my show, Willows Bend. Tonight, we are going to be covering weird things. I know, like what's not weird anymore, right? So, my cell phone keeps vibrating and moving on my table. I'm trying kind of a new setup tonight, so bear with me. My new cell phone, I am going to use that to monitor Willow's Bend chat tonight. So we're going to put that over there. So I may have to pick it up to see it better. I'm half blind, as everyone knows. So let's see. Ground rules: no BS in here, no drama, no disrespect, or trolls not welcome, or you will firmly get a boot in the backside on your way out the door. Play nice and all that, and all goes well. So everybody in here likes me to do a circle of protection / blessing for everyone. So let's do that. Let's find a piece of sage. That's a good one. Here. Hi, everybody in Willow's Bend chat. And for those who are listening on Soma Fusion Radio Network, wherever you might be listening, or on YouTube if you're watching, I monitor the chat in my Facebook group, the Willows Bend, as an FYI. So it's because even if I go over to YouTube, everybody from my chat goes there anyway, but people have trouble getting over there, or figuring out how to get over there. So just for ease, I go in there. So if you happen to like being in chat, you are more than welcome to come join my Facebook group. And again, it's called the Willows Bend, and it's open if you are interested. So with this sage, I cast a circle of protection around everyone in the group who is watching or listening anywhere globally. And may everyone be safe, protected, and from any negativity in or ill will or harm that may come their way, may it just be deflected back to the person or thing that is instigating it towards them. And may this follow them out of the show into their personal and private lives as well. And also anybody who might view the show after the fact, after it's aired live, may this also include them. A little bit for the puppy dog, Jake, who's been annoying me all day. Love him and bless his heart. And for little girl, yes, I know you're not fond of it, but that's okay. You be cleansed. And I cleanse all energy off of me as well, other than my own. So I will it, so mote it be. There we go, guys. All right, so we got lots of pictures tonight. Hopefully my adoptive son, Aaron Brody, is going to be here. He always gets mad when he misses the shows because he likes the pictures. And I have lots of pictures tonight. You are very welcome, of course, Sandy. I'm going to close this chat bubble down because it's going to distract me if it stays open. There we go. Sandy, how are you feeling, lovely? I was going to message you actually after the show ended tonight, and if I didn't see you in here, and check up on you. Hopefully you are doing well. Love and light to you, and speedy healing. She had her procedure done on Friday, I believe it was. Yeah, Friday. So she's been home resting, and as far as I know, it went well. So yeah, hopefully that'll continue to do so. And you're going to be a brand new bionic woman after you get done. So there you go. And forgive me if I'm wingding in my hair a lot tonight. It's still damp from my shower. It just didn't dry yet. So I had wanted to get it out of my way, but that didn't happen. So is what it is. We got the wild child look today. So anyway, weird things. All right, we ready to rock this, guys? Hey, Natalie and Chris and all my Sandys and Stacy as well. Got all my sisters and fam in the house there. Excuse me. I did take Sudafed, believe it or not. Yes, and that's why I was saying, hopefully you are feeling better by now after a few days home, Sandy. And I didn't want to press you to bug you every day to be like, how are you doing now? Now, how are you doing? I know I'd mean well, but I don't want to bother you either and be pesky. Yay, I'm glad your heartbeat's kind of smoothed out there. That's always a good thing. So, weird things. This is a topic. So, for those who are new to my show, my audience picks a topic. We vote on it, a bunch of different topics at the end of every show. Majority vote wins for the following week. I go out and do the research and then present it the following Monday. So this past week, everybody wanted weird things. So weird things you are going to get. I tried to kind of cover a wide plethora of different things. So you're going to be, hopefully, going to be able to see the photos I got. I'm using in my old tablet for that tonight because I don't know, I just felt like the phone might be difficult to angle so you could see it just right on my tablet. So I went with the other tablet instead. So we'll see how this goes. I know the battery in the cell phone is good for 3 hours, so I don't have to worry about changing plugs out and things like I normally do. All right, so what is weird? According to the dictionary, weird is defined as, it just suggests that something supernatural, uncanny, especially in an unsettling way, and apparently outside natural law. You asked for weird things, you got them. And the internet, as most know, is a treasure trove of weirdness and oddities out there. So let's start here. Let me pull up the first photo for tonight. And hopefully you guys will be able to see it okay this time. If not, I believe we figured out what was causing the difficulty in seeing it clearly the last time we tried this with this tablet. I think I have to adjust the lighting on my main tablet, not on the one that's in my hand. And when we did that, it seemed to kind of make it easier to view. So that said, I got lots of pictures for tonight. Okay, here we go. Now, get that to open. Now, this first one I'm going to show you, I want to see, first of all, if anybody in chat can guess what this is about. Looking like some spirits are watching. You know what? Spirits are always welcome to pass through. Don't mind that at all, as long as they don't cause a ruckus. Let's see. Can you guys see that one okay? If not, I will adjust the lighting on my other tablet and see if that helps. And if so, can you guess what this might be before I give it away? And let's see here. A better view here, angle it better. Oh, I thought that one would come out really good. Okay, maybe that one's too bright. Let's try this one. That seems like the best picture I got out of all of them. So any guesses in chat what that is? Hi, I thought I did something wrong. Started the live and there was music playing. Yeah, I have a theme song now, Mary, with up on Soma Fusion Network. I have a theme song playing. So yeah, it kind of gives everybody a chance to get everything up and running on Katie's end and sharing it out and all that stuff. So Pinhead. That is not Pinhead, actually. Let's see. Yeah, I guess normally you're just not usually here right at the beginning of the show, Mary, so you miss out on it playing, but yeah. So, nope, you're fine. That's my new theme song I've got since I've been up with the Fusion. So what that thing is, and I will bring the picture up again so you can see it again. Here. Pokey slow tablet. The first one like a medallion, but the other one looks more like a cod piece. You're close. Not quite a cod piece, but you'll see if I can get the picture to angle it right. No, wrong one. Which one did I first use? This one. And I have a pen for pointering. Aaron is here. He is. Hi, honey. We got lots of pictures tonight, Aaron. So I was telling everybody at the beginning that you better be here because you always get mad at me when you miss it. And there are a lot of pictures. So let's see. Let me try lowering the lighting on this tablet ever so slightly, and that helps it a little. and not have me look too dark for the photos. Let's try that and see if it is any better. Might or might not be. Not so much. Okay, that didn't make a big difference after all. Okay, well, nice Donna. I not too dark and have it be like not being able to see me clearly. No worries, Mary. Come and go as you need. Not a chastity belt. Not quite. So in this photo, like I said, I tried to kind of adjust it, but it's not going to do it. But whatever. I'll do my best. There we go. Okay, so in the front of this, you have the form of a woman, as you can see, and I'm apologizing if I'm not angling it just right. You know, sometimes it grabs it. Sometimes, oh, there we go. You see the picture, the form of a woman there. And in the second picture, it's not a cod piece. It is a naked bum. So what this thing is a silk napkin holder that nobles used to use to replace what they previously had used when cleaning up after using the bathroom. So the naked bum part of this napkin holder was to tell the nobles who might pick up said silk napkin that that one was meant to be used for cleaning up after going to the bathroom with, not, you know, versus what a dinner napkin per se. So not a cod piece, but a naked bum. Yeah. Blow it up some. Let me see. Let me see if I can move it over here. So this is just the bum one. So that would show them, hey, use this on your rump rather than on your mouth during dinner. And then the other frontward piece of it is just the form of a woman. So like I said, it was used to kind of show like, hey, these are not for your face. I thought that was just the funniest thing when I saw that, and thought that was a great way to start the show out with. So picture number 2, and hi, Tanya. By the way, I absolutely love your new stained glass piece. I just commented right before the show started. Hopefully they wouldn't be kept together. I mean, and I'm guessing, I don't know if they would leave them at the table or not. It didn't say, it just stated that those were used like napkin holders, basically, to tell people which were the right napkins used for which. So I'm guessing maybe the woman side of it was for the dinner napkins, and then the bum ones were maybe separate ones, maybe put next to your plate. I don't know. It didn't give up any more information other than that. So, yeah. So the next picture, we're going to be jumping topics a bit tonight around from nature to human stuff to just general oddities, animal things. I want a stained glass in my house now after seeing. Yeah, well, she's the one who made the stained glass pieces I have in the back of my wall here, the 2 feathers, and then the tree of life one. She made me those for my birthday and Christmas a few years ago. And that's why I always leave them in view, because I love them so much. And she caught me up. She surprised me so much. And I also have another one that she made that's sunflower shaped, that is a wind chime that's in my kitchen. So maybe the lady ones are lady things. It might be, but yeah, just a naked bum. So the next picture, I'm going to get it angled here clearly. That's probably as good as it's going to get. It is blue lava. Blue lava. Now this one, the blue lava is located in Indonesia, and this lava bursts up out of the ground so fast, and it's such a high temperature, it actually turns blue rather than the atypical red and oranges we normally see with lava. This comes out as blue. It's really pretty. It's kind of like an ice blue color rimmed with white around the edges. It's beautiful. But yeah, blue lava. Who knew? Oh, not time for that one yet. There we go. I know, really cool, right? Now this next one, also very cool, is kind of dealing with the same topic. There we go. It's not lava, but it's dealing with volcanoes. I don't have any of her glass works as Stacy, but I do have her amazing rune set and runes pendant. Yes, she also sent me a set of witch runes and standard runes as well. So I've got a little bit of everything because she loves me, and I love her back, of course. She does awesome work, and she's also a great photographer as well. She's very gifted. So that one is Volcanic Lightning. Volcanic Lightning. Now, I'll get the picture back over for you guys to see so you can see what I'm talking about. There we go. Now, this one, the electric storms created during volcanic explosions where electric and static charge are released into the atmosphere, and it causes this like lightning electrical storm. But the colors in it, it's all like the ends of the lightning are either white or they're like glow orange because it's so hot of a temperature. It's just actually absolutely beautiful. Let's see. And this one. Now the next one, anybody, I don't know, those of you who may be beach flowers, beach shells, whatever you want to call yourselves. I don't know if you've ever seen this. I've never experienced it myself. And it didn't say like, is it which ocean it might be more viewable on over another one, but it's the green sun. No, you are an amazing artist, Tanya. I've always told you that. So let me get you that picture. There we go. It's about as good as it's going to get, but you can kind of see here on the bottom there, right on ocean's edge, is it's really small, but it's green. It's actually green. And what this is, if conditions are just right, you can see a green flash of sun at either sunrise or sundown. Now, again, it didn't say where or, what the conditions had to be in order for it to be right. Sure, it's online and research, but I mean, I spent a total of, 5 hours last night researching, and then also another hour and a half today, this afternoon to wrap it up. So a lot. So I didn't take the extra time to go look up that question of what makes it green or under what conditions it has to be, but did say if its conditions are right, you'll see it green. What volcano erupting where, Renee? And obviously that means no, I did not hear about it if I don't know anything about it. Now this next one, oh, well, you see all of them there. This is the monarch butterfly migration, and butterflies migrate in huge packs, they call them, in both the United States and Mexico every year. Now, I have seen them coming. I live in upstate New York, which many of you know, and I have seen them not by any means in huge, I call them flocks, not packs myself, but I've never seen them in groups that big. However, I have seen like a steady line of them coming through, or a steady stream of them coming through upstate New York. They leave at the end of summer, early fall, and then head down for warmer weather, down like towards Mexico. Hi, Dad. And once down there, that's where they mate and so forth, and then come back up in order to basically end their lives come springtime. They come up, they lay their eggs, and then the cycle starts over again. So they arrive back in the springtime. But yeah, those flocks of seagulls, they call them packs, but I like flocks better. They show back up at spring and the fall. So very cool. It's probably something environmental that makes it turn that color. I would guess so, like with the lighting, or perhaps, I don't even know. It didn't say anything about it. Like I said, I'm sure additional research is online available on what causes the sun to appear green, but no, I have seen the sky turn green prior when tornadoes are in the area and stuff. That I've seen, but I've never seen a green sun. So people here in New York thought I was nuts because I used to live in Tornado Alley as a kid, and green skies in the summer was part of the way it is. So up here, of course, nobody ever heard of it. When I told them, like, you got to watch out when you see the sky turn green, that's time to get home and take cover. And people are like, yeah, a green sky, yeah, whatever, until it happened up here. And then everybody was like, oh my God, she's right. Well, duh, I didn't make it up, right? Like, this is a thing. Anybody in the Midwest and throughout Tornado Alley knows exactly what I'm talking about with the green sky. And for anyone listening internationally, there is a patch of the United States through the middle of our country that is called Tornado Alley, where there is a high number of tornadoes during tornado season, where they just happen left and right. And almost every night in the summertime, you'll get like a tornado warning or a tornado watch, excessively high winds, etc. So that's what that is. Now, these are very cool. Now, I've seen pictures of them before, but I've never seen like an explanation of it or known where they are. So let's see if we can get an angle just right, kind of, sort of. And I wish it could be better to show it like face on, but there just isn't any way because it's just too glary. Doesn't show it correctly because of the graphics. But anyway, let me see if I can blow it up bigger for you here. Move it over. And pick up the colors in it there. And the other one is full of oranges and reds and yellows. These are called rainbow trees, and they are rainbow eucalyptus trees. These are actual trees in Australia, and their bark is multicolored. Now, in the past, I always thought it was like the sap of the trees running out that made it kind of that multicolored look. No, it's the bark of them that does that. I thought that was absolutely amazing, and I can't even imagine what that would be like to see it. It would be seeming like something from, I don't know, Willy Wonka land or something, where this one's all pastels. So it's blues and like pale yellows and pinks, touches of red. And then the other one it looks more fire with a touch of blue, actually. In the upper crook of the limb here, it's blue, but all the rest of it's all orange, yellows, and reds. Absolutely amazing. It's amazing, what nature can do. That one's next. Let's see. No, I know it does, Aaron. That's why I always say I when I have pictures that always wonder where you are when when I have a show that does that. Saw those in Perth, gorgeous and surreal. I can imagine it's like some fantasy thing, like something out of a fantasy island thing or something. Growing up in Colorado, green sky means tornadoes. Yep, absolutely. Okay. Now, where did I write up this one? Oh, okay. Should get the image shown up. I'll blow it up with your hair. Try it. There you go. Now, these are the Dangxia landforms in China. These are sandstone hills and mountains. Let me flip my notebook over. I mean, this would be the same thing as seeing those trees. Can you imagine just flying over just a whole landscape of these? It's caused by the various hues of iron oxide during the development of these mountains. And yeah, they turn like these rainbow colors. I mean, just absolutely breathtaking. I can't even imagine flying over them or, seeing them at a distance. Wow. And then you're going closer, of course, and then that's where you should find those rainbow trees that would match perfectly. So yeah, I thought that was breathtaking as well. Very pretty, yeah. Now, these next ones, I will forewarn anybody who might be a little squeamish over anything to do with animals. Now, they're not gross, but it is a little sad, I guess you'd say. But it's a naturally occurring thing. So to preface that, so there is a place called Lake Natron and it's in Tanzania, and it has extremely high soda and salt content that causes any animals, like there's a lot of animals that will, I'm assuming maybe from the fumes rising up off of the lake into the air, any flying animal, it can cause them to kind of crash. Other theories are that the lake is such a clear color that it makes such a reflective mirror surface that it confuses the animal when it's flying, and that can cause them to crash. Now, once they're in the water or in the land, the high concentration, yes, like the tulip farms in the Netherlands, absolutely. Now, the high concentration of the soda and salt content in the water, it actually it it kind of preserves them, almost, and calcifies their body, so they become like the animal that crashes into the water. They will then wash up on the shore like rock hard and calcified, and they're perfectly preserved, and as they dry they become rock hard. So like if someone can find one as it's first coming out of the water, there is a photographer, before I show the pictures, someone needs to win the Powerball and take all of us to these. Wouldn't that be something, Tanya? Gotta, excuse me, you gotta play first to win, is what I always say. I don't play the lottery, but it'd be cool to win. Chris and I were fantasizing over what we would do if we did win, you know, what we'd do with the money and the good things we could do with it. So this calcifying lake, there is also the water of the lake is super, super hot and reaches to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, the photos I'm about to show, there is a gentleman by the name of Nick Brandt who put out a book called Across the Ravaged Land. And animals would wash up on the shore, and he would, you know, basically rescue them out of the water. And then he would pose them in natural positions to honor them, and they would be preserved in that position that he would put them in. The salt and sulfur pools of Yellowstone also calcify insects. I did not know that, Tanya. So I just kind of wanted to give everybody a warning before I showed it. They're not like gross. I mean, the way he did it is very respectful images, you know, and they're not like, oh my God, how could he? And blah, blah, blah. No, it's not about that at all. They are very well done. And, you know, he did definitely honor them the way he posed them. Now, this is a calcified fish eagle. Oh, I've heard about that lake. Isn't it somewhere in Hot Springs? No, it's actually in Tanzania. So on the other side of the world, basically. So this is a calcified fish eagle. So again, he rescued this out of the water and he posed it on this branch as a way of honoring it. But he took black and white photographs of all of these animals that he pulled out, like, or washed up on shore. He obviously didn't go into the water to get them because that's very toxic, but, you know, having them wash up on shore, he would grab them and, you know, get them posed and stuff. So that's an eagle. I can blow it up a little bigger here for everybody. But they're like perfectly preserved and calcified, so they're like a living rock. Well, they're not living, but a rock anymore. So that's the eagle. And let's see. This one is a calcified dove. This one looks a little worse for wear, but like I wouldn't have known it was a dove if he didn't identify the photograph, but they're kind of like hauntingly beautiful in a way, but sad at the same time, I think. This is a flamingo that somehow, and I didn't even know Tanzania had flamingos, but apparently they do, or it was migrating perhaps, but yeah. See, these pictures are showing up really well. Why can't the other ones? Yeah, I would think it probably would be easier than taxidermy. Yeah, it's beautiful, but sad at the same time. I think it's sad that the animals lost their lives to the lake, but it's at least in memorializing them in photography this way, he is at least honoring them. So this one is a bat, which is kind of neat, and he put it on a thorny branch. And the last one, it's a calcified swallow, like the bird, the swallows. We have them all over the place up here in New York, barn swallows and such. They're songbirds. So he placed it so it looked like it landed on the rock and was in the middle of its song. And sadly, it's the last song it sang, but still. I know, exactly. Yeah, I know. Like I said, it's like it is hauntingly beautiful, but in a sad way. Yeah, the bat is cool looking. So that's Lake Natron. And again, the lake's water naturally does it to these things. But this gentleman, Nick Brandt, preserved them in his book, Across the Ravaged Land, where he took the time to do that to honor them. So yeah, very beautiful work. He's a nationally renowned photographer. He's worked for like National Geographic and things like that on photo shoots before. So he definitely knows what he's doing. But yeah, I took a photography class in college and worked in black and whites, and it does really give a unique perspective to photographs that you don't get perhaps in color photographs. I enjoyed it anyway. I didn't think I would initially, but I have a whole portfolio of my work that I did from them, and it gives a certain quality to it. All right, so now we're going to go on to human oddities. And this is by no means, pointing a finger and goggling at anyone who has any type of disabilities or anything else. I will state that, as many know, it was common back in the day to have kind of sideshows and so forth and circus freaks. And for a lot of people who had different birth defects and so forth, it is a way for them to maintain their independence and or to have a family support system, because they were very closely knit within that environment and well supported, that they wouldn't have found in their own biological families at home, and or they would have been institutionalized and left to rot basically had they been stayed where they were. So this kind of gave them a way to have their own job, have independence, respect, and earn a living and travel the world, which they certainly wouldn't have had that opportunity had they not taken this. So it's a double-edged sword for that. So how can a bird pass and still stand? What do you mean, Marianne? I wonder how many people have fallen in there. I don't know, Tanya. It seems like, that people would be aware of it to not, go too close to it. I don't know how that would have been if they did fall in accidentally, or if they were trying to reach something that was in the water or whatever. Plus, it's like 140 degrees, which is really hot water. I was thinking it's probably as hot as my landlord has our hot water heater set here, which is, it's scalding hot. It's going to leave you with the second-degree burn if you have any type of exposure to it for more than a split second. So, yeah. Well, so he would get them out of the water, Marianne, and he would pose them and let them dry from the water. And then when they dried from being in the water, they would be rock hard and almost fossilized. So then he could put them in whatever position when they were wet that he wanted it to be in, so that when they dried, they would then be in, say, something that's posable or whatever, on a branch or what have you. Yours is that way too, Sandy? Yeah, no, I would say, I should sneak down there and like turn it down a little bit, because I've gotten burned so many times since I've lived here. So with that preface for the human oddities, let me make sure I got started with the right one here. For the human oddities, like I said, it's a double-edged sword with that stuff that Oh, okay. A lot of people, it is a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, people are paying to go see their and pointing, ooh and ah over their disabilities, but at the same time, it allowed them freedom to travel that they never would have the opportunity to either. The circus family that the bonds that they created within the circus behind the scenes stuff was very, very family oriented and tight, and they supported each other, and that became their family that they probably wouldn't have had they stayed on their own in their own environment. So, yes, my last place was like that, but the water was so hot I could barely take my showers. Yeah, I definitely have to use a lot of cold on mine to kind of, even with dishes, to make it so I can tolerate it, being having my body in it or my hands in it to do dishes. So, yeah. So I don't have pictures for the next couple of ones because they weren't great pictures, but I'm going to talk about them and then I will go back into pictures. Don't worry, Aaron, we have more pictures than not for stuff tonight. So the human oddities, there was one called, or a tribe called the Asmat, which were, it's ASMAT, and it was a tribe of, oh, I'm moving my tablet wrong here. There we go. They were headhunters. They were also cannibalistic. They were of the Melanesian tribe from the Solomon Islands, and they used the skulls of their enemies as pillows. So there was no great way to get a picture of them. They do shrunken heads and things like that, and there are actual shrunken heads that this tribe had made. If anybody has one of them near them, the Ripley's Believe It or Not museums, they carry a lot of that type of stuff in there, but they're very protective over photographs of their displays in there, because obviously they want people to come pay to see it rather than putting the pictures online. But I was hoping, because they have so many good things in those museums, at least on this topic of weird things. But yeah, the Asmat tribe, like I said, they have the actual shrunken heads in the Ripley's Believe It or Not museums, which are, globally, but I didn't find a good picture I'd like to represent it, so I didn't grab that. But the next one is the longest nails. Now, this is kind of gross. If you want to think about it, picture it. So in 2018, the Ripley's Believe It or Not crew got the world's longest fingernails ever recorded from someone named Sridhan Chalal on a single hand. Their recorded length is, are you ready for this? 29 feet, 10.1 inches long. Fingernails, 29 feet, 10.1 inches long. Well, these aren't really art museums. The Ripley's Believe It or Not aren't art museums as much as a museum of oddities and unusual items from around the world. Oh, this isn't that person, Tanya. I know who you're referencing, because I did see pictures of that lady that you're talking about on there. They had a second runner-up, if you will, and her nails were like 18 feet long. But this gentleman, Sridhan Chalal, had his longest fingernails were up to 29 feet, 10.1 inches long. They don't wipe their own butt. How could they? Yes, yes. So I saw images of that, Sandy, as well in the research last night. And it said the first thing she did was jump up and start doing some of the things she hadn't been able to do all that time. And she said, oh, I'm not going to ever grow them that long again, but probably about 10 inches long. You know what? Fingernails being 10 inches long, almost a 1 foot long, it's still, to me, I don't understand how you could do anything with them. Now, I prefer my nails longer. I have always had them longer since I was a pre-teenage girl. They've always been longer. However, I have my limits. The length a lot of women wear theirs for acrylic nails is too long by my reckoning, and I don't know how they can get anything done with it, but individual choice, I guess. But yeah, watch the lady get hers cut off at the ER. She decided to give her nails to the Tibbetts Museum. Yep, and they're on like display now. Yeah, I guess, Aaron. Well, that gentleman must be have really good luck to have 29-foot long fingernails. It was, I'm assuming by his name that he was somewhere in India, perhaps. Shridhar Chalal. Yeah, she was in all the talk shows a while back. I believe it. Can you, I mean, your claim to 15 minutes of fame being the length of your fingernails, I think I'd want to be remembered for something a little bit more prolific than that and in depth than that. But that's just me. Everybody's got their thing, right? So again, I didn't get pictures of those, but I figured I would leave those, the 29-foot long fingernails, to your imagination. You know, a lot of times they end up like curling and things. I mean, can you imagine someone's toenails being anywhere near that? Well, you wouldn't be able to walk. I don't see how you could. Sorry, I'm not a foot person, and yuck. Anyway, on that topic, so this, back to the pictures. Oh yeah, after all the germs on them and stuff, you'd have to like soak them somehow in bleach water or something, or cloth soaked in bleach. I got poop stuck on them. Yeah, you know, I couldn't. I've never been an acrylic nail person because I can grow them long, and yeah, it sucks when they break and they're down to stubs, but they grow back, and you know, but I still don't let them. They either break on their own 9 times out of 10, and I don't have to cut them back, or I'll have one long one left, and it looks ridiculous, and then I'll cut them back. The longer the nails grow, the longer the nail beds are. Yeah, Howard Hughes. What about Howard Hughes, Chris? Did he have some funky toes or something? So, well, I'll wait for your response on that one. So this next one, he is the limbless Prince Randian was his name. And let me show you him first. There he is. So Prince Randian was a famous sideshow performer who had tetra amelia syndrome, which is a rare congenital disorder where all 4 limbs are absent. So he was born without his arms and legs. He could roll and light a cigarette using only his lips. And he also painted and wrote using his lips as well. I mean, I can't even imagine beginning to learn those skills to be able to do that. That's talent, to say the least. They went on to, let's see, he never cuts his nails. Oh, ew, Chris. People like that. We usually have a servant for that kind of stuff, cooking and cleaning, helping with their bath too. He was a clean freak. Well, they'd almost have to, because you can't do any personal care yourself at that point. Now, he was also called some not so nice names, that Prince Randian, with everything from, you know, like the human caterpillar or the human snake and things like that. But I guess his actual name was Prince Randian. Now, whether he was actually a prince or not, I don't know. Didn't say, but that's what he called himself, I guess. Super OD, but mental also. Yeah, I believe that part. So this next one is interesting. I don't know how many of you listening or watching follow that show American Horror Story. So there, I want to say maybe season 4. Now, have never followed the show completely through or otherwise, but my brother was hugely into it and like forever shoving the newest season that he got, like he would rent it from the library or whatever. You got to watch this. And that was the last one I got to see, was the Circus Freaks season. And it was interesting. Now, this one, I think, is where they took the character of, hey, Ronnie, how are you, love? You watched that show. Which show is that, Ronnie? This one, they took a character or made a character based on this person. Now, their name was Simon Metz, but they also got also known as Schlitzie. So let me give you the picture. For those of you who maybe have seen American Horror Story, you're going to recognize him immediately, but there he is. Now, somebody in here had said Pinhead early on. I think it was Renee. I'm going to put this down so I can see my notes. Horror Story. Yeah, American Horror Story. Yep. Yeah, so they had a season that was titled Circus Freaks, and it covered like several of them throughout their, life stories, whatever was going on in their lives at the time, and dramas they had. And there was one in there that was like a pinhead type, and except it was a girl in the show, and this one is a gentleman. I haven't seen any of the higher seasons past like season 4 with the Circus Freaks one because I just didn't have access to it. But I liked season 1 a lot too. But anyway, so Simon has, let's see, pinheads were a huge sideshow attraction. Simon had a medical condition called microcephaly, which caused him to have an unusually small brain that was underdeveloped. He was at about a 3-year-old's level intellectually and stood only 4 feet tall. He could sing and dance and speak monosyllabic words, meaning one syllable, and could also count to 10. He could understand most of what was said to him, and he was also featured in the movie Freaks at the age of 40 and was also portrayed in American Horror Story, like I just said. So let's see. They're up to season 10, really? Well, I'm way behind then, Aaron. I know I don't have access to it. So they kind of fashioned that one pinhead character. Like I said, in the show, it was a girl, but he was obviously a man, but again, he stayed at about a 3-year-old's level cognitively because the brain is underdeveloped and doesn't grow any further past that level no matter how old they get. So at any rate, had a very successful life. And again, this life isn't obviously by what most of our standards would be considered as a good life, by what we would like per se, but at the same time, it was much better than what they would have received had they stayed at home or shoved into an institution to live out their days. So this at least got them fame and fortune and got to travel and so forth. So years ago, says Natalie, my dad worked on a movie called, oh, I remember that movie. They used a guy with a similar affliction of having no arms or legs to show the transformation of a guy turning into a snake. Oh, wow. Yep, I remember that movie. I saw that. So yeah, like he was also there's some horror movie now I'd never seen it because it seemed like kind of over the top for me, called The Human Caterpillar or something like that, or Human Centipede. It was also something he could get called, even though again he had no arms and legs. But Stevie Nicks is on one of the series. Yep, I did see that season. I want to say somebody sent it to me or something, but yeah, I didn't get to see like anything else. So yeah, it was a creepy movie, definitely. But I was unaware that they used something like that for that. Huh. So the next one is, she was called the Living Doll. Let me show you her. That woman standing on the chair there. Her name was Lucia Zarate. So there's that. And I think that was her sister photographed next to her. So Lucia was the first person diagnosed with Majewski osteodysplastic primordial dwarfism type 2. So at age 17, Guinness Book of World Records recognized her as the lightest recorded adult, weighing only 4.7 pounds. An article in 1894 said that she grew to her full height by age 1 of only 2 feet tall. She was part of the worldwide show called The Fairy Sisters. Human Centipede was people sewed together. Yeah, that's it. But they mentioned that in the write-up about him, but I didn't feel like I should put it in the notes. But sneaking in, going to the corner, I need a drink, humans. Hi, lovelies. Hi, Karen. It must be nice to have a famous dad in the movies. It probably afforded us a very specific kind of lifestyle. So again, had she been in any other situation, she wouldn't have had any notoriety, or, she was quite wealthy just from going on tour. I don't know what the tour consisted of, but, or how old she lived to be. However, I know that she's of Mexican heritage, and that's about all it said, was that she went on tour with, called the Fairy Sisters. What they would do in that tour, I don't know. It didn't go into detail. It's probably again online somewhere. Yep, he was a makeup artist. I remember you saying that. No, I don't have any interest. That Human Centipede movie does not interest me. It seems kind of over the top for me, or my liking. Now, granted, I love a good horror movie, but it has to have a good storyline and not be too hokey, you know, or too, bloodshed for the sake of bloodshed, and the gratuitous sex scenes and things. Now, a lot of you may have heard of this next thing, the Miter Museum, or sorry, it's pronounced Muta Museum. I always want to say Miter, but it's Muta. And there was a Dr. Thomas Muta who began this collection of medical abnormalities, now numbering over 20,000 specimens, and it's based out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You don't watch any of them. Cheesy movies are funny. It depends on how, like, in what way they're cheesy to me, but overall, a horror movie has to have a good storyline and, good effects too. Yeah, I have no inclination, Karen, to see that Human Centipede movie. It just seemed a wee bit over the top. So Dr. Muta was known to treat cases that no one else would bother touching, that were more unusual in nature. And you're like, geez, I have a cheese dance, but we're not going to do it on camera, just saying. There are brain sections from Einstein that a pathologist had saved in two mason jars that he put into a cider box and stored them that way. Einstein donated his brain to science after his death, and so the slides containing parts, I guess, vivisections of Einstein's brain, which of course, he wanted them to study in order to kind of see what made him as smart as he was, I guess. Or was there any abnormalities within his brain that led him to be so extremely much of a genius? Do you have a happy dance? Yeah, no, we're not doing the cheese dance. That's one I made up many years ago for my daughter and her friends, but you just use your imagination. Yeah, no, not on worldwide camera. I think I'm going to avoid that embarrassment. So the museum contains everything from original medical equipment used from medicine's infancy days to a full human large intestine from 1892. The dried organ is stuffed with fluff, basically, to have its shape. But I think it was to demonstrate how bad, I guess this guy died from it, but extreme constipation got to be. He got downloads. He did, Chris, absolutely. So the first picture is, let me show it to you first, because I'm too far away from my notes to read it when I'm showing you a picture. So, okay, there you go. So that is a jar of dried human skin that a 23-year-old woman donated that she pulled off of her feet. She suffered from a mental health diagnosis called dermatillomania, which is a compulsive need to pick at the skin. My stomach can't handle. I love reading up on medical stuff, though. No, it's an intestine that's in the picture that I saw, Renee. Blood and needles, blood, needles, all that stuff doesn't bother me, but I can't handle dead bodies. So we got another picture here for this one. Let me see. Shrink it up. And blow it up. Okay, this one is a wax model of the woman who had this condition, because obviously she died, but they do have, I believe, what they surgically removed off of her saved somewhere. I don't know, Heron, but I guess they found it fascinating because of it demonstrated what someone can do with that mental health disorder. They said Elvis Presley's intestines were like that. You make a lampshade. Kind of odd to want to save picked off skin. I can't even imagine like thinking, oh, let me go get a jar to hold this. Yeah. So this next one again is a wax model, but it's of a human horn. A human horn this woman grew out of her forehead. That is a horn. So that is a model made of what she looked like in life before it was surgically removed. Unreal, right? Can you imagine how long it must have taken to have that grow to be that length and to walk around on like with that coming out of your forehead, especially the timeline she came from. So she was a Parisian widow named Madame de Manche, and she had this removed back in the early 19th century after 6 years of growth. So I guess I did have how long it took to get that long. So in the early 19th century would have been in the early 1800s. So that's hence also why they took a wax model of her. Talk about a hybrid ground. Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, at least it wasn't swooping upwards instead of down, but how I can't imagine living life like that, especially at that age that she existed in the early 1800s. To go around seen like that would have been horrific. I can't even imagine how ostracized you would have been. I think I should lay off reading up on serial killers. Yeah, Ed Gein, is that who you're thinking of, Karen? Now there's another one. Let me see if I can get it. Well, I know I can. Just give me a second to pull it up here. Now this one, unfortunately, it's an old photograph. It's very overexposed, so it's very light colored. I'm hoping it's going to show up on camera. Elvis was addicted to painkillers, so I'd imagine his intestines would be in bad shape. Well, yeah, he would take stuff to kill the pain so he could perform and keep him up all night, and then take downers to bring him back down so he could sleep during the day. That's why his later years he looks so bad. But so I'm hoping this next one will show up on camera. Get the hair off of it. We'll see if it does or not. Let's see if I can get it angled right. Okay, so what you're looking at, this is a person's body here. This is their legs coming down there and there. And this is like a 3D model of that. That's like her belly. So what this is an ovarian cyst that weighed 74 pounds that was removed going back into 1865. But this isn't the biggest one that was removed from somebody, remarkably. And I'm kind of wondering, hang on a second, if I adjusted my light. There we go, a little bit better. There we go. Felt kind of bad for Ed Gein after reading his life story. Yeah, but in all the famous horror movie monsters, if you will, that everything from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all of those all were based off of him, including Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill, all of those. So that picture I just showed you was of a woman who had an ovarian cyst, weighed 74 pounds, and was removed back in 1865. Again, hence the poor quality of the photo. But that isn't the biggest that was removed from somebody. That came from a Shanghai woman in 1864. Hers weighed an astounding, wait for it, 182 pounds. She had an ovarian cyst. This one in the photograph was 74 pounds, and she's that size. Can you imagine if 182-pound ovarian cyst and how painful that would have been? Little girl, can you please get down? I love you, but yeah, thanks. I know. I can't imagine you wouldn't be able, you wouldn't have a life. You'd be bedridden because you couldn't get up walking around with that. There's no way your spine could support that. And Gain babysat for almost everyone. He was great with kids. So messed up. That is very messed up. So yeah, so again, this is the one that was, the photograph was of the 74-pound one, but the largest was 182 pounds that got removed off of a Shanghai woman. And it happened, well, the first one, wait a second. The first one was removed in 1865. So the Shanghai woman happened 1 year before, and hers was 182. I mean, mind blowing. No, it's not. I mean, if you just look at the photograph, Renee, of what she looked like, that was the 74-pound one. To have a 100, I mean, if it was left to just continue growing, and the further out of big cities you were and having money, you couldn't imagine going to the big city hospitals and stuff. And if they got treatment of any kind, it's usually on a a charity case situation. Now we have specific medical teams that travel to remote places to perform surgical procedures on people who, otherwise they would have no life or might die and have no chance to access it. I don't know if it would have busted before then or not. It went grapefruit size, and I thought that was big and painful. Yeah, I can't even imagine what life, I mean, there wouldn't have been a life. I mean, even if it is a typo and say it's 82 pounds versus the 74 pounds, still, but I did double check it that it did say 182. Now, this next one, again, if you are at all sensitive, don't look, as a forewarning, which of course is going to make you want to look. I mean, if you're anything like me, you hear that warning, you're like, why should I look? I want to see. But I'm going to throw it out there. It is a baby cyclops, and it's also in the Muta Museum. Again, all the medical oddities. So, or no, excuse me, this isn't from the Muta Museum. This is from a museum in Rolik, Amsterdam, in the Netherlands. So it is of a baby. It is a birth defect that can happen. I've watched tumors be removed that were huge. Okay, I fast forwarded through the operating part. I believe 182 pounds. Yeah. Mine got as big as a fist and would bust and make me drop to my knees. Well, yeah, I mean, again, you would be bedridden. You couldn't do anything for yourself at that point. So the baby cyclops, again, this is a birth defect and obviously the child didn't survive, but I will explain more in a second. So just want to forewarn you guys, it's not pretty, but obviously they autopsied it, but of course they had to see and explore medically like what was going on with it, what else might be off inside the body, and that might have been abnormal or whatever. But so it is a birth defect that can happen. Cyclopia is a rare birth defect where the embryo hasn't formed two separate eye sockets and instead forms one. Chances of having that are 1 in 16,000. Most babies who have it are either stillborn or get aborted if it's identified that, that's what they're going to have. You can't do much to reconstruct that for a child, and to go through life like that would be horrible, of course. So, there would be no viable, modern medicine would have a better chance of doing something with it now, even if it was a prosthetic eye on the other side or something. They might be able to do something with it, but, back in the day, that wasn't an option. So welcome back, Mary. So the next one I didn't do a picture of because the topic is just yucky, but I will read about it to you. Had to get a hysterectomy to stop them from growing. Yeah, a lot of women unfortunately do, and it is horribly painful. So the next was the world's largest tapeworm. Now, can you see why I didn't want to photograph it? I was like, well, I would give a pass on that screenshot. Come on, pass over, little girl. Do your thing. Don't slide. You get your nails caught in this dress, you're going to rip a hole. So the world's longest tapeworm was a 28-footer that got removed from the stomach of a Japanese gentleman who complained of stomach pains. So can you please move forward? I would love that if you did. Come on, up and over. Mama's doing a show. You can't just stand on me. Thank you. Yeah, yuck. I know. I was like, yeah, we don't need a picture of that. You can all visualize that. In a museum called Surgeons Hall Pathology Museum in Edinburgh, Scotland. Now, there was this, I did not photograph this one either, just because of what it deals with. A lot of people it might be freaked out by it, but I mean, it looked like a regular thing, but I'm eating uncooked foods. Yeah, that's what I'm figuring, and seafood and stuff. I think it said that he had eaten fresh trout or something like that, and was like what they thought he got it from, maybe. So in 1829, there was a gentleman named William Burke who was a murderer, who was happened to have been hung for killing 16 people and then selling the bodies to a Dr. Robert Knox, who then dissected them during his medical lectures in medical school. So this gentleman ended up going, the William Burke guy, who was the murderer, serial killer, he was dissected, and the flesh that was left over from his body after the dissection, they turned into a book. Now, I don't know what this book contains, and if you stop and think about it from a scientific standpoint, leather is, cowhide in most cases, cow skin that has been dried and, worked with to make it become leather. But this is a book made of human skin. Now, again, for all intents and purposes, the photograph looked like a regular book that had was made from leather. But yeah, they made a human book from his skin. Wow, I didn't know women go through so much with their bodies. I'd never even know. My respect for women. Oh yeah, Aaron, you guys have it's so lucky compared to what men get compared to what women have to deal with. Honey, I'm telling you, you guys got it easy. So now we're going to go into animals and some of the weird things animals can have. You saw that book on the History Channel. Some people use tapeworms to lose weight. I can only blame my curiosity for learning that it occurs. But having curiosity to learn is a good thing. And I have actually heard of that, but a 28-footer, no thanks. And they say that a lot of people actually have intestinal worms and parasites that they have no idea that they have. That it's actually way more common than what people think it is. So animals, just like humans, can mammals, it's a mammalian thing. And all animals that are mammals we're classified in with them every bit as much as whales, dolphins, etc. Any of them can be born with birth defects. And actually, any living organism can have a birth defect that typically comes in embryonic form. When the mother carrying the egg is pregnant and the egg gets fertilized, if it doesn't divide correctly, is missing a weird chromosome or whatever, it can lead to birth defects. Or you can be a carrier of the trait concerning it genetically, but you don't have it yourself, but you can pass it down to the offspring because of that. So here is a cow that was born with 2 extra legs. Which in this case, I could imagine that it probably would have led a pretty normal life from that. And in this case, it might have been a twin that it got absorbed into the cow that did get born, the calf. Lots of times they might have twins and have 2 calves at once be born. So it might have gotten absorbed into, the main one, and it didn't fully finish forming into a separate animal. I did not know you were vegetarian, Sandy. So this albinism is an actual thing, and it can have a lot of health conditions associated with it that many people aren't aware of. When you just think of an absence of color, and having the near white hair or actual white hair and pink eyes, it goes so much deeper than that. I know in humans it can cause grand mal seizures, it can have heart conditions, a sensitivity to light that will cause your skin to blister if you're at all in the light. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I don't know if it's the same as animals, but they can certainly have albinism. Not total vegetarian. So worm found in steak. This was a neighbor who found it 2 weeks ago. Before being cooked, Karen, or after cooking it? I mean, that's why they say make sure you cook meat to a certain temperature, is to kill anything parasitic in it. So this is a zebra that has albinism. So it might live a shorter life than its normal healthy counterparts, but and I don't know where it's located. It didn't say. You don't need to eat meat to get worms. No, you do not. That is correct. So this next one, before she cooked it, yeah, that's why you cook it. And most of the time, through the cooking process or after, we don't notice that it's in there by the time we go to eat it. So I would have taken it back. This is a huge heffalump of a cat. Now there is a breed of house cat, a domesticated cat called the Maine Coon, which are ginormous in their body form, shape, and size. They're just huge bodied cats. This is not a Maine Coon cat at all. In fact, I've never seen one this large that is colored this way, but it doesn't say where he's from or otherwise, but it is a gentleman holding a black and white cat. Let's see if I can get it over here better. There you go. Look at the size of that heffalump. That's huge. And that's obviously just a domestic cat, It grosses me out when people go to a restaurant or steak and order it raw. Yeah, my mother liked hers rare, and I'd like, should I walk it by the fire once and stop, or a couple times? Is that good? Yeah, no, I prefer, medium at most. I don't, pink me. Yeah, medium is good for me. Not even medium rare, just pink is okay, but nothing below that. That is a big kitty, Chris. Now, this I've not ever seen in an adult before, but it is a two-headed shark, and it kind of looks like a great white based on the teeth, but I'm not positive. The photo didn't identify what kind it was, but let's see if I can get an angle right. There you go. A two-headed shark. And I would think it would have to be in an aquarium in order to survive, but it might not be. I don't know. And if it's not, I know that they don't have great success keeping great whites alive in captivity, but in order, should they? But it just, getting attacked by one isn't good enough. Maybe other things, but could be a creepy crawly. Yeah. So that is a two-headed shark. Oh, this one, wait till you guys see this. This is freaky. So, I mean, you guys wanted weird. I'm giving you weird. Okay. This next one is called a goblin shark. So let me show you the picture of it first. It is freaky. Actually, probably see about blowing it up a little bit. Well, it'll be better sideways. There we go. Give you the full effect. We'll go sideways with this guy. Obviously, the shark is no longer living when they took the photograph, but so with said goblin shark, jaws double tap, right? So this goblin shark are a rare species of deep sea shark, often referred to as living fossils. You saw those on Shark Week? Yeah. They are the only known surviving member of an ancient family of sharks that I really couldn't pronounce. Cutie pie puppy shark, right? They're able to detect electrical currents emitted by other animals in the water. And it was actually the inspiration, the Alien movie franchise that had Sigourney Weaver in it, classic horror. Now, those are good horror movies. So what the alien was in that movie that H.R. Geiger, I believe, is the artist behind it. Needed dental work, right? H.R. Geiger, I think is how you say his last name. He's the one who created the alien, but it was based off of this shark. I will tell you why. So when they are hunting, let me give you the photograph again, blow it up for you. Like the alien in the alien movies, these can shoot out in order to catch the prey. So this is like its snout, and these can come down in order to extend out to snatch prey. So he based the alien in the alien movie. And for those who've never seen it, they have the alien has this like secondary mouth that can come out and rapid fire punch through things and, has teeth and stuff. So, yeah, I'd never heard of this before, but it is a goblin shark. Pretty freaky, right? And we have a two-headed baby owl that was born somewhere. Again, these weren't identified where they exist in, but they are just had the pictures of them as animal oddities. So two-headed owl or baby owlet. Okay. Now, this next one, yeah, I love the Alien series franchise. It's good. See, like that kind of horror I'm okay with because it's got a good plot line to it. It's got a strong female badass character lead in it as the actress, and she kicks ass, but she also has a vulnerable side to her. She's impacted by what she goes through, but it doesn't stop her from going on and being brave in, the subsequent movies and stuff. So, it's a good movie series. So the next one is the Voynich manuscripts. Now, this is a 240-page medieval manuscript that originated sometime between 1404 and 1438. Resident Evil, yep, I love that series as well. It's actually one of my favorites too. So it was written in an unknown language. To this day, and we're going back again from 1404 to sometime between 1404 and 1438 is when this thing was first written. And it was written in an unknown language. Scientists and scholars everywhere still cannot decode this language. Many have tried. Many have spent their entire lifetime careers trying to decipher this language and have really gotten nowhere with it. And even trying to use some of the pictures as a way of, figuring out what it might say or mean. And they really can't, because the pictures that are in it it almost seems alien in nature, and maybe it is. I don't know. I mean, it has like images of things, plant life that does not exist here on Earth. And I got a few of the photographs from it that they were referencing in talking about the material, but nobody has been able to make sense of it as of yet. So here's one of them. Now, this is, wait a minute, I want to show you, start at the top of view of it. Okay, so I'll show you this one. Now, there is a close-up shot of it, but I took this one because it shows the entire part of it. This is one of the images from the book of the Voynich manuscript. So you have this contraption here. Now this thing sort of resembles like I don't know, the top of it looks like a petal, but the sides of it look more like an acorn top, maybe, I don't know. but it has this contraption here that come down, and it comes all the way up here and comes down into here. And this pool, I have a better closer up picture, but that's the one I had that showed the top of all of that. The other one, this one cuts it out. Now, what that all comes down into, you saw that on some show, yeah, is this pool of water that's green that has women submerged in it, and it's, it has that contraption kind of coming down into the water. If you can see, like over here, it comes down into the water. It's like it's dripping something into like that green fluid, but they can't figure out what the heck it's referencing, and what it's talking about, if it's they're living or not. But nobody can make heads or tails of the language. And let's see. Ba-doop-ba-doop. Here, the next few pictures are some of the other symbols and drawings, illustrations that are in this manuscript. Again, we don't have anything like that here on Earth that resembles them, so nobody knows what they are. So, let's see if I can, there we go, tipping it works good. Get closer up to see it better. And we have, let's see, this one. This looks like some sort of a flowering plant, but it has an odd looking root system, and then I don't even know, different kinds of leaves leading up to the stem of multiple flowers on it. So that's like the root system at the bottom, and then it shows the stem coming up. We don't have anything like that here on this planet. And we have this one here. And again, this is another plant that we don't have anything like this on this planet either. So same deal. It's another type of plant. Don't know what it is. Oh, that looks good. So again, it was written in the 1400s, but nobody can make sense of it, heads or tails, one way or the other. It's unknown what the heck it's talking about or otherwise. So, okay, go to that one next. Researchers hope at some point that they may have some sort of an AI technology that can decipher it, but the process still needs a lot of work to get from here to there at this point to do it, and they need a lot of like different scholars' input on creating a device like that. The aliens put it there. They may have, maybe a guide could get to the bottom of that language. It would be interesting to know. Yeah. You're obsessed with the Resident Evil movies? Yeah, I like them too, Aaron. I believe the book was on the Beyond the Unknown with William Shatner on the History Channel. Huh. Yeah, I don't have cable, so I don't have the History Channel, unfortunately. But I think I've heard of the manuscript before, but never saw the illustrations from it. So a limited 900 copies were made and dispersed, with the original locked in a vault at Yale University Library. They're being sold for $9,000 each. Even the defects in the paper, any holes, whatever that is in the original, are reproduced in the copies of it. No, nobody can translate it. It's unknown. It does not match up with any language here on this planet, nor do we have any plants resembling that on the planet, or what that pool with the women is, or what it is like, what's draining into the pool. Is it some, I don't know. It doesn't, they can't even like guesstimate what it might be, because we don't have anything like it here. So, I mean, somebody may have gotten it in download form, perhaps from another race of beings, or I don't know, higher something somewhere else, interdimensional somethings could have given it to somebody to translate down. Could have been something dreamed. There's no idea where it came from, why there was no nothing regarding whoever originally penned it. Like, nobody, I guess, ever came forward claiming, hey, I'm the one that wrote that, or telling their story about it. There is just absolutely no background story on it, and no one can decipher it. So interesting stuff. So the name of that transcript comes from the Lithuanian antiquarian. Now, an antiquarian, we've talked about them before in different shows, that they were professionals who studied antiques and, those that don't have a explainable reason, and as far as archaeology and things go, a scientific basis, like those things that science can't explain that we've covered in other shows. Antiquarians study that type of stuff, and so it comes from antiquarian Wilfrid Voynich, who bought it from a rare collection of books in 1912 that belonged to the Jesuits in Italy. So the pictures I have come from a digitized copy of it that's online that one can view. Fountain of Youth Pool, regeneration. Yeah, maybe, Chris. Your guess is as good as theirs is about what it is. Could be cloning, could be any number of things, but yeah, it's completely unknown. No one's been able to figure it out, and many have spent their lives going nuts trying. Now, these next ones are kind of along the lines of what we like to cover in Willows Bend. These are artifacts that possibly they have unknown origins, or some people speculate, were they of alien origin or not? We don't know. So, but they've been found at any rate, and I'll show you the picture, and then I will give you the story behind it. Or of a womb that would be cool. Could be, like I said, some cloning thing, who knows? But it's green. Whatever it is, it's green. So this is of a piece of machinery that is almost like a tooth from a cog wheel type of thing. It's close up. There you go. Okay, now the backstory to this, that's called the Russian tooth wheel because of the teeth on it. First time I read the headline of it, I was like, tooth wheel, what? So a Russian man found it embedded in a piece of coal that he was using to light a fire. It has teeth that like it belonged to a piece of machinery. He showed it to scientists, and testing showed it's almost pure aluminum and dated to be about 300 million years old. We didn't figure out how to make aluminum until 1825, or cogs for machinery like that. And it resembles parts used like in microscopes or other delicate devices. Scientists, of course, aren't willing to jump to alien origin yet, and they want to run more tests on it. But preliminary tests show that it's 300 million years old, and where it came from, that it was inside a piece of coal, who knows? But interestingly, that's also how diamonds are formed, is coal that is through the pressure of being in the earth, and from heat and so forth, that diamonds form. So from coal. So interesting. The next one, now this is interesting because we've covered stone heads in different formats on the show before, from variety of different cultures, and usually it's kind of unexplained how they did it, etc. Now this is interesting. Check out the features of this thing. Let me enlarge it for you here. Look how almost Caucasian in form this is, and it's a giant stone head. Now, nope, skipped one. Go back. There we go. This is the Guatemala stone head. Now, many of us know, I didn't see Brenda come in, but hi, Brenda. Oh, there you are. Well, you can always watch the replay if it interests you. Maybe there's a connection with the plants and how diamonds, some things were thought. Well, that piece of equipment type thing, if you want to call it that. Let me go back, Aaron. That's the aluminum thing that was found in a piece of coal. That's what you're talking about. That was in the coal. That's made of 100% aluminum. My grandmother used to, she was my step grandmother, but my grandmother, she used to call it aluminum. So this head was found in Guatemala. Now, many people of Guatemalan lineage are, they have more heavier features. They have the wider bridge noses and the high foreheads and, the darker skin tones, and were more like, had heavy features, I guess you would call them. And this is much more aquiline and very Caucasian looking to me. But it was found in Guatemala in the 1930s, and it's made of sandstone. The facial features don't resemble any Mayan or any other people found in those lands. Now, sadly, the head was used as target practice by the revolutionary troops, and its features have since all but been destroyed. So it's all we have is like old photographs of it. They did have like a civil war type of thing in that area, or a revolution, and those troops used it for target practice, unfortunately, and destroyed it. But that picture dates back to the 30s when it was found. So obviously, again, it doesn't show anybody, it doesn't resemble any other people found anywhere near South America. But interesting that somebody took the time to carve it. And if you look too in the picture, to give you an idea of the size of this thing, get up here again. This down here is an old Model T type of car. So that shows you how huge it is compared to the car. It's huge, or was huge. Also interesting is the size of it. It is very sad that it got destroyed. So the next one, up here, open up, is called the Williams Enigmalith. And this, I'll show you that one. This is the first, so it is a rock, and it seems to have like some form of an electric plug embedded in it. If you can look down towards the bottom, it has those prongs visible in it that are sticking out of it. And that's the whole thing. And it looks like a 4-pronged plug, and they do look metal in nature. So I just blew it up for you. I did a progress report in high school on South America. They got lots of mysteries down there. Yeah, we've done several shows about the population of people and the remnants they left behind, some of which is unexplained. So this is the Williams Enigmalith, and there was a hiker named John William who found this rock in 1998, and it has a strange component in the rock that looks like a plug, but it doesn't appear to have been glued in or otherwise like attached to the stone that way. It's thought that the rock may have formed around the device. He refuses to break it, though, to see what's inside. Now, geological analysis of the rock is about 100,000 years old. He will allow it to be researched as long as 3 different conditions are met. Someone has to agree to those conditions, or he won't allow it to be further researched. He has to be present in order for it to be researched further. The rock remains unharmed, and that he doesn't have to pay for any of the research to be done. Whilst unwilling to break it, he's willing to sell it for $500,000. So obviously it has value to him. I don't know what I would do in that circumstance to, I think I would want further research to be done on it, like testing to identify what's inside of it. And I think that could be done probably without breaking the rock. But what I of course wouldn't want to pay for the research either, because the types of testing used to penetrate the rock would, have to be really expensive testing. And so, yeah, I wouldn't pay for it either. And I probably would want to be present in order for it to be done as well. But, so I don't think they're unrealistic expectations. But yeah, I'd want to know more about what's in it. Seems like they should x-ray to see inside. Exactly. And as long as he's present, like, if he could find somebody who cares about it besides him, who may have access to grant money or whatever, or the equipment that they privately own per se, might be able to do an x-ray on it to see what it does consist of, or some sort of a like MRI type of scan or something. No, I think it's reasonable. And I think the price he's asking for it says, hey, this means a lot to me. So I'm not going to just hand it over, for 500 grand. I don't think it's about making a buck, because he found it, back in 1998. So he's had it all these years. So interesting, it's unknown yes, they can say how old the stone is that it is surrounding that plug thing, but they can't say, did it form around that plug? And I don't know, were plugs even made back when that part of the rock would have been forming? I don't know. I know, exactly. That's what I said, Natalie, that I'm surprised that more weren't kind of fighting over themselves to, find out more. You are going to have to go out soon, Jake, whether you like it or not, son. This dog, OMG, he fought me all since we got up this afternoon, because I'm a night owl, as many of you know. I sleep through the morning, into depending on how I sleep and what time I get to bed. I sleep until I'm normally up between 1 and 2-ish. Today I got up by 3 because I was up for quite a while in the morning. So he went out when he first got up, of course, and then kept asking to go out again prior to the show 3 times. And he refused because it was raining. He would ask me, we'd get out there, I'd get him hooked to his lead line, and he would refuse to go out in the rain. It's not pouring, it's like drizzle rain, and that's about it. It's been doing it for 2 days now, but this time he refused it 3 times. When I go to take a shower, a lot of times if I try to get him to go before I get in, because I don't know, the sound of the running water, whatever, makes him need to go. And he rushes me to get out of the shower and get done in order to take him out. And I'm like, it's not like at our old house where we lived in the woods and I could go out naked or whatever on the porch and nobody cared or could see me. Here, we got neighbors. Nobody wants to see that. So I have to make sure I'm dressed and whatever first. And so I tried to get him to go out before my shower. I heard him get down after I got in, and I thought he was having an accident. I was like, oh, you better not. After taking you out 3 times and you refusing, you best not have an accident. He didn't, thankfully, but I still couldn't get him to go out again before the show started. So I don't know. Maybe the scientists do more there, just keeping the information to themselves. I don't know, Aaron, like some scientists or governments do that, or military, but maybe he hasn't approached the right group to ask them if they're curious about it. Or most would probably write it off as, oh, that's just a regular plug. But again, it doesn't seem like it was glued to the rock at all, or otherwise tampered with to insert it into the stone. So I don't know. Now, this we have talked about before on a past show here. I believe it was on Unexplained Artifacts, but it is an ancient airplane form that's aerodynamically correct. That was a really good picture. It's showing up really well too. Yay. Now, these are small golden figures that closely resemble modern jet planes. Again, they're aerodynamic and to have flown perfectly, but their origins and their use remain unknown. They're relatively small. I think if I remember the original research correctly, they're only like 3 to 4 inches long. So my guess would be maybe that they were meant to be toys, not sure. But Yeah, there, or they don't know, it's unknown who made them or what their actual purpose was, but they are in a museum to this day, and it's unexplained where did that information come from. Although based on like back when the Mayan culture was getting destroyed and their priests had kind of salvaged what they could at the last minute and then rewrote like the histories of their people. Um, some of that information and also some of the Indian texts from India were thought possibly to be the origins of it. Um, Again, completely unknown, but I think I'm thinking more India because of the fact that there is original manuscripts that date way, way back in time to where modern flight stuff was completely unheard of at that point, and yet they had detailed plans to create aircraft that could fly and how they were powered and propelled and the motors and the fuel types and everything else documented, and yet they date back, a couple thousand years. So I'm inclined to think it may have been from that type of a culture that created those. You're going to have to go out soon, puppy, whether you want to or not, whether it's raining out still or not. Just saying. I'm gonna go out now before I do the next one. Let me see what he's gonna do. He's gotta have to go by now. I'm gonna go out and go potty. Okay. So I will be right back. Little break time for everybody. I'm gonna run the dog out so I can make sure he doesn't stay out long this time of night. So I'm gonna lay the tablet down just so it doesn't, or I don't know, brace it better maybe that would work. I'll tilt it a little bit so it isn't as likely to fall if I knock the table getting up. Okay, watch out so I can get up, boo. Hurry up, we'll go take you out real quick. Wicky wick. Move out of the way so I can get up. Yes, I love you, but you gotta move so mama go take you out. You gotta go out. Gotta go out. You have to go out or not? We'll go so I can get up. Jaker, get the hell out of the way, okay? I'm in the middle of a show. Now let's not have a moment where you're like lost on what I'm talking about here. Oh, creaky for this weather, Jake. Come on, let's get you out. You're going out now this time, whether you want to or not. I will kick you down the ramp. Not kick you, but shove you out the door. Come on. Can I go out and go potty? Come on, let's go out. Get it done. Can't hold it forever. Come on, let's go. Come on, Jake. Don't even. Come on. Jaker. Come on. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Come on, Jake. Let's go and go potty. Come on. Come on, silly. Let's go. Jaker, Jaker. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Come on now with mama. Not with you. Come on. We gotta get the door shut so the cat doesn't come on. Come on. Dude, I don't want you to have an accident. Come on. Stubborn, willful. You know what? You know what? That's the fourth time, Jake. Just go, please. Go out and go potty. Then you best not have an accident in the house, on the bed, or anywhere else, because I swear that is the fourth time I've stopped what I'm doing and I'm interrupted things and I'm on the air to let you out and take you out to do your thing, and you're refusing. You best not have an accident, or you and I are going to have words, dog, and they're not going to be very nice words. See? Fourth time. You're not amusing me in the slightest bit. I'm sorry, but you're not. You're being ridiculous, is what you're being. You don't even know what the weather's doing out still, and you're refusing to go. You heard what I said. You best not have an accident, or there's gonna be a problem. Get up. Sorry. For those who aren't familiar, my dog Jake is an old Dalmatian, who are a very willful species. He's been very trying with my patience with the weather and everything else in the last 24 hours. Not just with this, but listening in general has been like not happening in the last 24 hours. He's just been very difficult with paying attention and following directions and stuff. So this is just in keeping with that. Like I said, this is the fourth time this afternoon I've stopped what I'm doing, got up, gone out to the door to let him out, and he refuses. This time he's not even going on the porch. So I'm done. So I apologize for that, guys. Pellegrini ran for the door. That's funny. Yeah, I wish you would go, Mary. I know he has to go. He's just being ridiculous. We usually don't hear about things until they're ready to make public. Yeah, Karen, actually, oftentimes, a lot of times things are discovered it can be even up to a decade, but at least 2 to 5 years on average before it's made public. So they like find stuff, they study it, and then, they get a grip on what they think it's going to be before going public with it, which I don't know. It seems like they shouldn't take that much time in studying stuff before presenting it to the world of, hey, we found this. And to me, you know what? It's okay to say we don't have all of the answers to this, or we don't know exactly what we're dealing with here. But hey, we'll keep you posted. There's nothing wrong with that. But the scientific world likes to have T's crossed and I's dotted before they will come forward with information. So yeah, a lot of stuff is, it's much older and of a discovery than what they bring forward to make known, or before they make it known what it is. Let me not spill. It would be great. Come on. Getting close to the top. Sorry, this cup is very difficult to see it until it's ready to overflow, and I have done that a number of times. So I try to stop before it's too close to the top. Who we got? Kim, I didn't know you were in earlier, so welcome back. This cup kind of hurts my hands to pick up and hold anymore, and my thumb joint, whilst healed, is still not 100% yet from the surgery. I can only lift certain things and a certain weight before it gets me good still. Or too much writing also can bother it. So that cup makes it difficult. So I try to pour it. You best not have an accident, I swear. No peeing on the bed. No peeing on the floor. Like, nope. We're not playing that game, Sunny Sun Sun. You refused to go out 4 times now, Jake. Uncalled for. Okay, so these next ones, I have seen pictures of them before, but didn't really know much of a story about them. I think it would make an interesting show topic personally, but you guys know me with archaeology and unexplained finds and things. So these are called the Ubaid lizard men. Now, let me show you pictures of that. My tablet closed. There we go. Let me blow up the one picture for you better first. There we go. Now it's going to be a little blurrier in this enlarged format, of course, but it gives you a better idea. That's the statue standing off to the side there. Okay. And here is the other one that was pictured with it. Make sure that's okay. Now, you do that too, Mom. I always fill my drinks to the top of the rim. My old family used to get so mad at me for it. Why do you always have to fill your drinks up to the rim? Because I like it. Well, this cup is like it's a thermos. I mean, it's all metal. and you can't see down inside of it. Like they should leave a, I don't know, a strip or something. And you can't go above the neck because then it'll spill when you put the cap on and screw it in, because it's a, a tight seal. It doesn't, it's leak proof. So if it's too high, then it spills over, and it's easy to overflow it because you can't see it till it's like right there. So yes, I do always spill it. ET, yeah. Where are you going? So the Ubaid lizard men, and Al Ubaid is an, try to see around the cat for the notes, sure, is an archaeological site in Iraq, and it has yielded a ton of objects from pre-Sumerian times called the Ubaid period, which was from 5900 to 4000 BCE, before current era. So go back to year zero in our timeline, and then go back another 5,000 years. And that's when the Sumerians were thought to have lived. Can you? Thank you. Go on. No, go. I can't read with you in front of my notes. Sorry. Animals tonight. Oh my God. So, a number of Ubaid statues show strange lizard-looking humanoid figures in unique ceremonial poses that seem to show that they weren't seen as gods, but rather a race of lizard people. There are existing theories of reptilian aliens in positions of power today, as far as conspiracy theories go or alternate theories go. But their true nature still remains a mystery. Now, I think this could be a cool topic to delve further into, to see what other artifacts have surfaced, perhaps, that are of that nature. That's the only two I found. Again, I just more want to bring the topic up to touch on rather than have a whole show on it. But yeah, lizard man. Be interesting. Now, this next one is called the Sri Lanka meteorite fossil. Okay. There we go. So that's a meteorite from Sri Lanka. Now, two separate studies have been done on this meteorite that fell in Sri Lanka, and it's shown that it has fossils and algae of an unknown origin. Now, a lot of stuff that's coming, information perhaps that's coming back on Mars and other planets in our solar system, are suggesting that even, that is one possible theory of how life got started, scientifically speaking, is from a meteorite perhaps carrying DNA from that is picked up along the way in space and crashed somewhere, and it ended up starting life on a planet. Now, it would have to be a pretty big meteorite, but in having it be a pretty big meteorite, it would cause an awful lot of destruction to a planet in landing there. So, kind of iffy on that theory myself, but yeah, it is a neat color. So it does show signs of contamination by the freshwater species that we have here on Earth, because from its time being here on Earth before it was found. Who knows what time period it landed and stuff here. So how long it was in the ground or in water, perhaps even before it was found, in order to, it kind of is contaminating some of what was native to the stone itself that it picked up from space debris and odds and ends from the meteorite itself. But it did show signs of having, algae and other things. Now, some say it does give credence to panspermia, which is that theory that life existed throughout the universe and is spread out through space via debris and meteorites, etc. It does, again, is showing signs of contamination. So you can't tell 100% all of what was on it because of it being contaminated by what we have on our planet. But I don't know. What do you guys think in chat about it? I think that, again, if it was a large meteorite, in order to spread that much life forms here into any planet, it landing would cause mass destruction. and could even block out the sun and so forth. And so a smaller meteorite, that's not going to have a huge impact on an environment as far as spreading life across an entire planet. So, the idea of it being just the right size meteorite to start life on a planet, it seems a little sketchy to me for a working theory. Yeah, it's the reptilians, Aaron. They're called reptilians. It's an alien race of people. There are no demons. Demons are a man-made construction. There are what humans think of as demons don't exist. Actual demons are interdimensional beings that, they are not at all what humans think of them as. So just saying. But yes, there is an alien race of beings called the reptilians, and that is also what that Sumerian thing is thought to be, is those. Yeah, it's high. I agree, Chris. I think that what is it, panspermia theory is highly unlikely as well. So this next one, this is interesting, which I think I might have shown a similar picture to it once in a past show we did on UFOs in like artwork and things like that. I know how it came up, but can we get a topic on demons? Yeah, most of it would be Christianized view of what demons are, which again, in my experience, that's not what demons are. I've encountered demons before. I've spoken to, met them as a psychic medium and communicated with them. But, it's a biblical creation by powers that were in control who wrote the Bible and put it together to scare people. And fear is a useful tool to control people and what they do. So people get all afraid and, it could be an offensive topic to choose for those who are, very Christianized in their foundation of beliefs or firmly believe in biblical things, have a Christian view or opinions of things, put it that way. My storyline, it's, just a few conversations of them and what my theory on them of what they are, which I don't think it would make up a 2-hour show on it. Like I said, most of the material that's out there research-wise is Christianized views of what they are, which is a fear-based thing. So, yeah. But this next thing, this is called, I totally believe that, Donna. They were made up to terrify the masses. Yeah, it's the same thing as hell. It's a matter of follow our beliefs, do what we say, or you're going to get punished. And for all of eternity, and the idea of being punished for all of eternity is a scary thing for many people. And demons are the ways that would be done through, is just the way to bring the terror in. So, yeah. More subjugation and control. Yeah. So, again, to me, in my experience, they're interdimensional beings. Not saying they don't exist, but I don't think they're what Christians view them as. I think the meteorite thing holds some credence. There could be living organisms brought here from space. Not sure if it's responsible for all life. Yeah, that's kind of what I looked at it too, as that it could carry some things, but in order to have, to populate a planet, that would be a stretch. What if the meteor was big enough to push the Earth into a place closer to the sun and able to sustain life? Maybe something like that, but in pushing it, then wouldn't it have to kind of half hit it? To enter its gravitational field, it would end up colliding with that body, that, object and planet, whatever, moon, what have you. In order to push it closer to the sun, they would have to kind of, collide in order to push it forward, I think. So yes, could it have introduced some species on a planet? Sure, I think that's possible, but to populate an entire planet through a meteorite is, I think, a bit of a stretch. Or to account for just the sheer diversity of life forms. Could that have come from just algae and, what else did it say it had on it? Oh, it just said fossils and algae of unknown origin. So, could that have gone on to create the wide diversity of life forms on our planet? Yeah, I think that's a stretch. Just saying. But anyway, this next one is called the Summer's Triumph Tapestry. Now, it's not a great picture. I fully own it, and I didn't have time to go find another one. However, probably will be able to at least see what I'm referencing in the photo. I can blow it up some. Now, it looks a little blurry. I'll show you the whole thing, and then I'll zoom in on what I'm talking about, unless you guys can see it in the picture. But that's the Summer's Triumph Tapestry. Now, why this is unique. Well, first of all, let me know in chat if you happen to see what makes this unique before I answer what it all is. Now, I will say it was created in, forgive my mispronunciation, I don't speak French, the Bruges, which is the capital of West Flanders region of Belgium, around the year 1538, give or take. It is beautiful, yep. And it's very busy. So it's kind of like a, where's Waldo in the picture? I didn't see it at first either until I read the detail exactly. So I will use my pen and point it out and blow it up. It's going to be fuzzy, but that's just, it was a bad photograph of it. And I didn't have the time last night or the wherewithal left in me to go looking for another better picture of it. But all right, so what do you see here in this area of the tapestry? What's that look like? Now you can see kind of across the rest of it, and you can't see much of the sky through the rest of it, but in that one part, yes, it is visible in the backdrop there. UFO, correct. Chris gets surprised. So it's infamous for clearly depicting a UFO-like flying object in the sky, and it dates back to around 1538. Now we did cover this in other shows that had race car and a checkered flag. It did have, we talked about how objects, UFOs, unidentified flying objects being seen in the sky or aircraft, being depicted in ancient artwork and stuff. But yeah, that's a typical flying saucer shape that is in a tapestry from 1538. So pretty weird, right? Where would they have gotten the idea to create it had they not seen it? No, it is really blurry, Natalie. It's a poor picture of it. See, I didn't have time to go looking. At this point, it was probably 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'd about had it for the night. But so here is the tapestry as a whole. It is a bit fuzzy of a picture of it. And where I am talking about is, I'll enlarge it as much as I can without full on distorting it, is up in this area here of the picture. Get closer to the camera. Trying to get rid of the glare. There you go. So it is a UFO-shaped object up in the sky behind all the chaos going on in the tapestry below it. Send me a link to the tapestry later. I will make a note, Chris. I do have a piece of scrap paper in here too. No problems. It is a bad picture, Natalie. I just, like I said, there might be a better one online. The one I found on this list of weird things or unexplained things. It was, I didn't have the wherewithal at that point of the night. I'd been researching for 5 hours, and at that point it was approaching my bedtime. So I kind of called it a night and did the rest of it today. Link to tapestry Summer Triumph. Okay, gotcha, Chris. Now, this next one here, and we won't be much longer, Katie, FYI. Saw the checkers and figured it was a car. It might have been the edges of the tapestry. Now, this next one is a painting called The Glorification of the Eucharist, which the Eucharist is just another word for basically the Holy Trinity. So here is the painting. Italian painting Ventura Salimbeni created this famous altar painting in the 16th century, and it shows, flip, you are most welcome, of course. Better. The Holy Trinity with the Father, the Son, and the dove is representative of the Holy Ghost. That Christians don't believe in ghosts, but you know, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And in between them, they seem to be holding what looks like a space satellite. The object is large and it has a metallic finish and is spherical. Also has two telescopic antennas and odd lights. People think it resembles an old Sputnik satellite. Religious experts, of course, say it represents the universe, and the lights on it are the sun and the moon. Sorry, my arm's dropping. The antennas are seen to be scepter wands, as symbols of authority for Christ and God. What say you? So there is a closer up of the object. I'm starting to hurt my shoulder, sorry. So what do you guys think? Sorry, my arm dropped there, and I was trying to read and not seeing where the photograph was, but looks like an old satellite. So yeah, I mean it sorry you reached your Wi-Fi. Yeah, to me it looks like some satellite type object. And those do look like antenna, not scepter wands. Why would Christ and God need scepter wands to represent their authority in the universe? That seems kind of silly to me, but yeah, so it looks metallic in nature by the shape and form of it. You know, it doesn't look like the earth or anything else. It looks metallic. And those don't look like scepter wands to me. They look like old TV antennas, you know. But that's the dispute in it. I'm going to have to get my computer up and going so I can see better on the replay. Okay, Renee. But that's the argument, is that, you know, again, is the object is seen as looking like it's a spherical satellite object, and the other religious experts say, oh no, it's the universe, and the lights on it are the sun and the moon, and they're scepter wands, symbols of authority for Christ and God. Okay, I know what I think, but it doesn't agree with the religious experts, but taking it at face value, it does not look like that to me. So the next is the Mexican government's Maya artifact. There we go. And let's see if I can hold it with this hand because my shoulder, no, can't do it. Sorry, try it on this side. Just have to lean more so I'm not in it. Okay. So in 2012, the Mexican government released a number of Mayan artifacts that they had been protecting for over 80 years as, quote, state secrets. They were found from an unexplored, I gotta put that down now, my shoulder. Unexplored pyramid in Calakmul, which is a site of one of the most powerful Mayan cities. Several artifacts seem to show UFO and alien visitors. Some call it clearly a fraud on these artifacts. And so I guess it would be at that point a matter of opinion if it's fakes or fraud. But I mean, it definitely clearly shows some interstellar type thing going on in there, or perhaps even a battle. Oh, I love the Mayan history as well. I mean, it definitely looks like some sort of a battle or something and involving spacecraft and aliens, but some are calling it a hoax. But it was part of what got released by the government after 80 years of holding it in secret. So how can it be both? You know what I mean? Like why would the government hold it for 80 years if it was a fake? Is what I have to ask. I don't understand the name of the picture, maybe a different spelling. The Eucharist, also known as the Holy Communion and the Lord's Supper, among the other names, is a Christian rite that is considered a sacrament in most churches and as an ordinance in others. It doesn't mean the Holy Trinity. No, the painting is called The Glorification of the Eucharist. Is what the name of the painting is called. The Glorification of the Eucharist. But that's what it shows on the painting is the Father, the Son, and the dove representing the Holy Ghost. And then it has like cherubs forms in the corners of it and stuff. If that makes any or helps clear it up any. I didn't title the painting, but that's what the Italian painter named it, is the glorification of the Eucharist. So yeah, it's glorifying it, I guess. So anyways, I guess it would be up to you to decide if that artifact is fake or fraud or not. But to me, like I said, if it was a fraud, where would the government hold on to it for 80 years? And it does seem possible that there could have been an previously unexplored and just new discovered pyramid out there that, I'm sure we haven't found everything relating to their cultures and so forth. And, after so many years of not being used, many of those places get overtaken by the jungles around them. So they can get missed from even, flying over them, whatever. So I don't know what the history of that is. I would be interested in researching that further, that Calakmul site, but it seems plausible. So the next one is called the Betz Mystery Sphere. Here, I think this might be the last one. Now, the Betz family had a strange fire that destroyed 88 acres of their woodland property on Fort George Island in Jacksonville, Florida, back in 1974. Pussies. They were checking out the damage when they say they found this strange sphere. It's about 20 centimeters or 8 inches in diameter and completely smooth, except for a weird elongated triangle symbol on it. At first, they thought it was either a NASA gadget or a Soviet satellite, perhaps. 2 weeks later, the sun was playing guitar in the same room as the sphere when it started reacting to the music he was playing. It began emitting an odd throbbing sound with a resonance that deeply bothered the family's dog. Upon further exploration of it, they found that it could stop and change directions when pushed across the floor, eventually returning to the person who first pushed it. What are you doing? Better not be peeing on my bed. What are you doing? Okay, you let me know what you're doing, Jake. It's weird and it's interesting, hence weird things. So it seemed to draw power from solar energy and was noticeably more active on sunny days. Occasionally, it would emit a low frequency rattling and vibrations from it, almost like a motor was running inside it. It also seemed to avoid falls and crashes at all costs, even allegedly crawling up a slanted table to avoid a fall. Initially, the Betts family refused. What? Are you going to make me get up again and go to the door and then refuse to go out again? That would be 5 times tonight, Jake. Just saying. Yes, I've kept count. To let the government or military, they refused to let the government, or military take it from them. Exactly. Now, soon things changed when it began showing odd poltergeist-like activity. Doors started slamming and strange organ music would fill the house at nighttime. They finally agreed to let the Navy analyze the sphere, who came back saying it was a perfectly ordinary, high-quality stainless steel ball. Shadow was cast on its origins when later an artist named James Derling Jones came forward saying that 3 years earlier he was transporting a number of stainless steel balls matching the description that was meant for a sculpture he was making. He said he had them on the luggage rack on his car roof and that he did lose a few during the ride. Now, that's what I'm kind of leaning towards, because the arguments for it being one of like the artist's balls that got lost on the ride, he was saying, yes, it's a bumpy road. What do you want? I don't want to have to get up and interrupt my show at the end here to go let you out, to have you say no to me at the last second again. I know you have to go. You're not fooling me. And they were saying too that, oh, well, it would have rolled, and changed directions perhaps if their floor had a slant in it. And, but any like rattling noises could have been from any metal shavings that were left in the making of the sphere. But it doesn't account for the other things they were claiming it was doing, that it had like the poltergeist activity, that you'd be pushing it to roll it, that it would end up changing directions and then coming back towards the person who rolled it to begin with. It doesn't account for any of that stuff or answer that. So I think and plus again, the Navy is military. So military is known for covering things up. So would they disclose, oh yes, this is from an unknown, metal, or this is from some alien thing, we don't know what it is? Would they say any of those things publicly? Probably not. So it would be easier to dismiss it as just a lovely stainless steel ball. So I guess at that point, it's up to the individual to discern what they feel like it is, artist's ball or alien ball. But to this day, they say, yeah, like they think it's something by the nature of what it could do. And the sounds it was emitting when he was playing guitar, it wouldn't emit its own noises resonating with the tune if it was just a simple stainless steel ball. They do think we're idiots, absolutely. That is a well-known thing, absolutely. So there you have it, a whole 2.5 hours of weird things, unexplained things you guys loved. So there you go. So topics for next week to vote on. For April 19th is the next show, and that'll be episode 127. We have medieval birth control methods, the Knights Templar, cryptids, creepy pasta, Stonehenge, and he is having an accent but not peeing, the Warrens, and Goatman are what we had to vote on from last week. So give me a second and let me go pick up what he just did. He just doesn't get any warning before he has to go out. It happens once or twice a day. Yeah, I actually love it when it does strike when he's outside, but it just doesn't always work out that way. Let me see, dude. What you got going here? Well, No. Ow. Before after the show ends, because we're almost done. Yes, almost. Kitty's probably fine. We're almost done. Yes, yeah, I'm gonna get to it like I can't see what I'm doing here. What do we show you all? Here. Okay, great. Yeah, Mama got it all. Okay. Done deal, done. Done deal, done deal. Okay. I know. I still think you need to go out and go potty, but that's just me, Jake. You're gonna have to go at some point here, kid. Can't hold it going forever. You'll get out of my spot, Kit Kats. Move. Move. Move, move, move. Beep, beep, beep. And it looks like you did go some on the bed, which is lovely. So I'll have to change that when I get done too. Sorry, guys. All right, so pen. Topics: medieval birth control methods, the Knights Templar, cryptids, creepypasta, Stonehenge, Ed and Lorraine Warren, or the Goat Man. And let me go back. The Weird Things Rock. Well, I don't know how much more is known about that, Ronnie, as far as like enough to do a whole show out of it. Because the guy hasn't allowed additional testing, so okay, so Mary says the Warrens. If aliens are around you, no, the military and government is too far behind. Of course not. Goat Man, says Ronnie. Tanya says medieval birth control. Sandy, medieval birth control. Natalie is the Warrens or birth control. Chris, reptilians or further investigation on Mayan artifacts, or combining the topics if not enough info. So Mayan, Mexican artifacts or reptilians. Gotcha, Chris. I don't know what you're doing to your blanket over there, dude, but let's not make even more work for me. I'm just saying. Medieval birth control methods, says Brenda. Warren, says Sandy. Medieval birth control, says Aaron. Warren's and the Goat Man. Dad says the medieval birth control. Renee says working on going to Goat Man's Bridge. Interesting. So what's your vote, Renee? And do we have everybody? So while I wait to see if there's any other votes, medieval birth control methods, I dropped tulpas because nobody had voted on it for the last couple of weeks. The Knights Templar, cryptids, different types of cryptids, creepypasta, Stonehenge, Ed and Lorraine Warren, or the Goat Man, or Mayan Mexican artifacts, or reptilians. I have not tried to channel an alien before, although I've seen past lives where I've been one. I combine both sex topics. Well, we only have the medieval birth control on the table for as far as medieval birth control methods. That's the only topic we have regarding anything sexual. Hey, Gina, you missed the show, sweetheart. Like, I would probably have to speak or like have the name of somebody to connect to as far as calling someone in to connect to. I'd have to have a link of something, like some way to create a link. to know who I was going to talk to. I mean, I've spoken to an emissary to like the Galactic Council before once. There had been like different sexual behaviors across different cultures, but we ended up dropping it because nobody was voting on it. Been sick all night from the medicine the doc gave me. So sorry, Gina. So yeah, we dropped the other topic because there just was no interest for like 2 or 3 weeks. When nobody votes on a specific topic, then I tend to ditch it off the voting block. Be so rad if you did that, the aliens and reptile subject. Yeah, we got it on the voting block there. All right, so it looks like that right now the medieval birth control methods won for votes. Actually, there's no votes for anything in between on the list. Other like from everything in between below the medieval birth control methods and down to the Warrens, everything in between didn't get voted on at all. Sex. So yeah, I took the other topic off the table because nobody was voting on it for like 3 weeks in a row. So I didn't keep it on there, but click on the word rad. Okay, what happens? I may have to go back into my chat and do it. Oh, there we go. Oh, wow, check that out. That's kind of cool. Thank you for pointing that out, Sandy. I just thought she used a different topic to create that. That's funny. Kind of surprised me. All right, so then it looks like the medieval birth control methods will be the topic for next week. I can look into other info on the Mexican artifact and I know there would be enough info on the reptilians to put together a show on, because it's been a long talked about thing. But yeah. And it's even thought that they occupy several like big positions of power within world governments and stuff. So medieval birth control methods will be on there. I will look into that Mayan Mexican artifact thing and see, if there's any more out there on it. But there's definitely enough on the reptilians. So anyway, that'll be for next week. They won by 2 votes. Then Wednesday, on the 14th, we have the Seth Speaks book group in here in Willows Bend. Friday is readings on my Beyond the Veil page. And good night, Dad. Love you. And then back on here on Monday the 19th for Willows Bend. The congratulations one, I do know about that one. There's a couple of them that react that way, but I can never remember them. But yes, I always get a kick out of those. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's on there to vote for. So, how'd you make it pink? That I don't know. Although it shows up pink higher up, Gina, in chat after you asked how did you make it pink? It's when you first just type the word rad, it comes out pink. So anyhow, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ronnie. I hope you do too. So I will see everybody in here next week for the medieval birth control methods. We'll see what we can find for it. If there's just doesn't look like there's enough on there to make a big show out of, then I will choose. See, the next second most voted topic was the Warrens. So we'll go to that one if there's not enough on the birth control thing, but I'll see what's out there. So thank you guys all for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sandy. I'm glad you're feeling better. And I got to wait for Katie to come back and notice that we're done to end the show officially. But thank you, Chris. I'm glad you stayed up to not miss it. So, yeah, and for anyone who is out there listening, on Soma Fusion Media Network. We are globally. You can find us on all over Facebook, we're everywhere. Every main social media platform, we are on there. We can be viewed on YouTube and Facebook. And at Soma Fusion, Soma-Fusion.com is the website. We are on Facebook under Soma Fusion Media. Radio Media Network. Sorry, I'm just deleting all those other photos out of my tablet before I shut it off to charge it. So yeah, we are around pretty much everywhere you want to be. So I want to thank everybody from globally to listening and watching. And we will see you guys next week on Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Soma Fusion Media. You're wide awake today. Boy, I wish I could quite say the same, but yeah, he's been antsy from the weather and stuff. And, we both get quite creaky in the bad weather from arthritis and stuff. So having me up every hour and a half, 2 hours is worse than living with a newborn in the house for 12 years. Yeah. So he gets me up that often. So I'm going to probably, let's see if I can get it on here. Yeah, nope, can't get it on there. I'm going to have to do it in my messenger here to let Katie know we're done. All set. Because a lot of times she just goes and does other things because she knows I don't need hand holding for my show on. So click on those. Oh, almost dropped my phone. Oh. Aw, cool. How do you remember all those, Sandy? I always forget them, other than congrats. Yeah, I'm going to be trying to go to bed a little bit early anyway. I got a busy drive to town week ahead of me this week. So tomorrow I was going to try to go to run errands and get to the grocery store because I'm kind of running low on groceries. And so need to get that done. And then Wednesday, I got to go back to town to get my truck fixed. And then probably, I think it's Friday, go pick up my scripts from the pharmacy. So like every other day, I'm going to be driving 80 miles back and forth to town, but, get her done. Sandy, show more. Up since 7:30 this morning because we had an exterminator come out, laid down, but couldn't go to sleep. I do see them on other people, some of them on other people's posts. The rad one I hadn't seen before, or the hugs and kisses, but of course, congrats, I did see that. Wednesday, you got a doctor's appointment. Yeah, so, the mechanic is in the morning, so hopefully I'll be back here by like noon, 1 o'clock at the latest, give or take, and then we'll have time to get a nap before the book group. So that's my goal anyway. Yeah, definitely will. Absolutely, as always, and I don't know it's probably going to rain tomorrow too. It's been raining for, whenever we get a week of nice weather, then we always have to follow it with a week of rain. It's just how we are here. And so it's going to be rainy no matter what happens until like Friday or something. So I'm going to be in and out in the rain tomorrow. Lovely. But it is what it is. So that's the plan. So yeah, I'm just going to wait for Katie to notice that we're done in order to stop the feed. My procedures tomorrow. Who knows what I'm going to feel like on Wednesday? I don't know what procedure you're talking about, Gina, but yeah, Seth Speaks is, no, not tomorrow night, Sandy. It's Wednesday night. Yeah, that's always on a Wednesday night. Tonight's Monday, so tomorrow's Tuesday. Foster situation is working great. I'm happy about that. She's a sweetie. Nice. Yep, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. Day after tomorrow. I'm essentially on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule for my shows and stuff now, at least until the book group's done. So, yeah. I had another one of those right before I came live tonight. Somebody was requesting, me to basically do the drop everything and come handle their stuff thing tonight. And I said, well, I can't. I've got to get in the shower. I've got a show tonight. So it's better to make an appointment. Here my schedule is. Let me know what works for you. Okay, well, here's my phone number. Call me as soon as possible. Well, no, I just got done saying that I am unavailable to do that tonight. So you have my schedule. Let me know what works. Like, people just expect that. I don't know. I'm sitting around waiting with a 1-800 psychic medium line, like, a Ghostbusters phone line or something, and have nothing else to do in my life besides wait to get a call. It's not that way. And I used to be more likely to try to be flexible about it. And depending on the situation, every time everyone has their own agenda, of course, of what's important to them and stuff. And, it's just people want you to, what's important to them is not necessarily your schedule. Remember I told you about oh yeah, but I didn't know you had a procedure thing going on, Gina. Yeah, just, people just what's important to them is not your priority or vice versa. So whatever they have going on is more important to them. And that just seems to be how things work as human beings, I guess. And anytime I have gone and dropped stuff immediately to go help somebody, in the end, it wasn't anything that couldn't have waited a day or two to handle it. Nobody was in danger. It wasn't life-threatening. So, it just always is funny how when I do that thing of, okay, here's my schedule, let me know what works for you. Okay, then call me as soon as we get done here, or here's my phone number, give me a call. I just said, here's my schedule. So anyway, good night, guys, for those who are leaving. Yeah, people only care about, if it involves their problems. Well, it's, everyone, again, has their own agenda, Aaron, of what's important to them. You do, I do, everybody does, and what's a priority individually. And that's what is most important to us that we prioritize. And so not everybody sees it from someone else's perspective when they want something. And it's just well, you must be available to do what I want now and drop what you're doing and telling you it's important. Okay, well, I'm not negating it, maybe, but if I'm unavailable, I'm unavailable. What do you want, dear Jake? So anyways, if you guys need to go, that's fine. Unfortunately, I have no control but to wait for Katie to get back. And I know she doesn't have any idea how long exactly my shows are going to run.
I'm back.
Oh, there she is. Yeah, I like my situation on my massage
You only needed to just text me and let me know because I couldn't hear you.
I did. Well, I didn't text your cell phone because I don't have a way to text until my cell phone SIM card.
I texted you on Zoom.
Oh, well, I sent you a message in Messenger.
Oh, I didn't get that at all.
I sent it to the group because that's the only one I had open, and I didn't want to block out everybody's screen. But
yeah, that's okay. I didn't have any notifications up on my phone whatsoever, but I was partially trying to hear you at the same time. So
okay, well, next time I'll do it in Zoom then.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we're done. All good. So lots of love, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of the night, and I will talk to you guys for those coming to the book group on Wednesday night. Have a blessed night, everyone, and thank you.